In October, the sun shines over the mountain after 8:30 and lights Wumu village in Yunnan. Deep in the Hengduan Mountains, Wumu village is found by the Jinsha River and is as tranquil as the scenery. With not much work left in the fields, Ha Wen and Ha Deguang from the same village go up the mountain after breakfast. During this off-season, villagers gather and prepare wood to repair their houses.
I have to repair my house, but I'm currently short of wood, some wood with a diameter of 15 centimeters. I need to find wood that will serve as support for the ceiling.
Due to lack of transportation, it takes over 4 hours to get from the town to Wumu. Over 300 households are beyond the mountain. They get materials from the mountain for houses. Pine is their preferred material, as it is tough and immune to worms.
This tree is about 8 years old, which means that it is a relatively young tree. And because of that, it is good as a joist. You see, we don't need big trees for support, only small ones.
After choosing the tree, they prepare to cut it down. And then, to protect the environment, they only need a permit from the forestry department to proceed.
We need to give back to nature, and we do that by offering a sacrifice. We can cut the tree down only after the ritual.
The flower stands for snow, the pine branch for purity. A glass of watery wine and a cup of tea are offered to nature to communicate with the gods. The Nashi people consider every cut a wound that they inflict on nature. They pray to the mountain god to show gratitude and to ask for forgiveness and understanding from Mother Nature. This is the Dongba Culture School of Wumu Village. He Jishen is a young Dongba at 36 years old. In the Nashi language, Dongba means sage. He is the priest who is familiar with traditional Nashi pictographs and other Dongba ceremonies. Tomorrow, there will be a ritual to worship the god of nature. He Jishan hurries to make the offering cards.
If you think about it, Dongba are actually also artists. We have to know a little bit about everything.
The sacrifice will be held on a hillside near the village. They call it worshipping Shu. The Nashi people believe that Shu is a god who exists in mountains and rivers, a god who represents nature. The story goes that humans were half-brothers of Shu. But because humans kept polluting, destroying forests, and killing wild animals, Shu took revenge on them, and they suffered through disasters like droughts and dried-up rivers.
We leave several bowls that are filled with milk as well as flowers. This serves as medicine to heal nature, and later we will chant scriptures. We will be calling the gods of nature and ask for their help in the healing. We would like them to help heal nature. The chicken is a domestic bird, but today we use the chicken as an offering, and that is why we're giving it back. We disguised it so it looks like a pheasant, or maybe as beautiful as a phoenix. And later we will set it free again.
The Nashi people believe in animism. Worshipping Shu not only heals nature, but is also the best way to communicate with the god of nature.
On a special day like today, we give many animals back to nature where they belong, and that includes white cranes and eagles. We pay back nature with millions of animals to make up for human beings hurting and destroying many things in nature, including wild animals. Because of that, we have made nature angry. So today, we give back to nature by performing this ritual. That way, nature will forgive us and bless us again with safety and hopefully a good harvest for everyone.
79-year-old He Mao Chun is an older and respected Dongba in charge of the ritual. Dongba scriptures contain the Nashi people's understanding of nature and express their wishes to live in complete harmony with it. These also serve as a code of conduct for people to follow.
Water flows out of the mountains naturally, and around the water you will see a dense forest with towering trees, and all of that is within 3 to 5 kilometers from here. There is a saying in our culture that has been told for thousands of years. They say, anywhere that has water is home to the god of nature and must be respected, and that is why we must not cut down his trees, or it will bring bad luck to our family, or it could even make us fall ill. People here, they do not question it. The villagers taught their children in words and action, and today they continue to behave in such a way that is protective of the forest, as was passed down to them by their ancestors. I think these cultural methods are sometimes more effective than the laws that are put in place for minorities.
Bai Gengsheng of Nashi heritage is part of the China Writers Association and president of the International Nashi Culture Society. He believes Nashi culture contains the wisdom of harmony.
If one does not have enough resources, he can ask them through sacrifices if he can then use the new land. Once he gets permission, he should perform rituals to show his gratitude. It is through the practice of these rituals that the relationship between man and nature comes into being. You will see, instead of hostility, there is harmony, gratitude, and a mutually beneficial relationship with each other. It is this very relationship of man with nature that protects and preserves their home. And it also serves to protect the environment.
Today, residents of Wumu village still follow a set of mountain rules. There are many types of protected forests. These include scenic forests, timberlands, those with water resources, and those for fertilizer. For instance, a villager would never cut down trees in scenic forests. To use as fertilizer for their fields, villagers will pick up fallen leaves instead of fresh ones. Currently, forest cover rate in Wumu village is at 76%, considerably higher than the average level in Lijiang.
The harder life is, the more we appreciate it. The harder we live, the more we treasure. The Nashi population have mainly made a life for themselves, living in mountains and valleys. Our ancestors made the terraces. In such an environment, if we do not respect nature or protect the environment, we would most certainly be destroyed. For example, a landslide could come down on our terraces and ruin the entire village where we live as well. Our ancestors truly understood how important a relationship with nature really is to our survival. That is one reason that we find it's important to protect the environment. That is a quality that our people truly cherish.
He Jisheng was selected as director of the village committee last year. In his spare time, he likes to stand at the top of the canyon, where he can look down at Jinsha River and have a wide view of the 3 neighborhoods in Wumu. Over 300 households with 1,300 villagers live in these deep mountains and valleys. To survive here, it is particularly important for people to help one another. He Shuiliang raises dozens of goats. This is most of their family property. One of their goats is missing. It appears that it has fallen off a cliff as it was eating grass. Mu Jin Hong from the same village helped to carry the dead goat home.
The mountain is steep. We didn't see it, but the goat fell off. Just like that. My uncle, he lost a lot of money. Oh well.
The goat, which would have been worth about 2,000 yuan, has fallen and died, and can't be sold in the market. This is quite a loss for He Shuiliang, but he does not worry too much. Upon hearing that He Shuiliang's goat has fallen off the cliff, neighboring families come to his home. Rather than merely coming here empty-handed, they come bearing gifts of different kinds of food.
I heard the sad news that his goat fell and died. We brought some food. We only wanted to help him, even when none of us had much money to spare. And we might have had very little to spare. But we did grow food. We had more than enough, so we gave him some.
The goat, including its bones and meat, is divided into 10. Each family takes one piece. The host family should weigh the food they bring and write down the help they received from all the families. In Wumu village, nearly every family has an account book like this. Villagers who cannot write will ask others for help.
This is the tradition of the Nashi people and our village. If we want to put it into modern terms, when difficulties arise in one place, aid will come from everywhere. Like if an uncle passes away, they will check the logbook that they have, and his children will come to help those in need.
The Nashi people believe there is a balanced relationship between men and nature. In life, people cannot simply borrow and not pay back. This is described in Dongba scriptures. One can fall asleep again after paying back the ghosts. One receives a great future after one pays back one's enemies. One has peace of mind after paying one's relatives back. Harmonious relationships develop between people when they know how to borrow and pay back.
My mother would tell me to scrape the bowl with my chopsticks so that we would be sure not to get extra rice. Never too much. We were careful. On the other hand, when we would return rice, we were to give it back in an overflowing bowl. She would even tell me to pay 12 yuan to people from whom I had borrowed 10 yuan. Interest was part of it. This quality of paying back has been an essential part of traditional Nashi society in villages.
In Wumu village, animals can be shared between families when needed. Villagers help each other do farm work, no matter how big or how small the task. There is a saying that goes, "Bad luck follows bad people, and only good luck follows the kind." The belief that everyone should be good is deeply rooted among the residents of Wumu village. The harmony among its people stems from mutual assistance and understanding. According to legend, their ancestors were nomads from Qinghai and Gansu. In the 3rd century, they migrated to Sichuan and Yunnan. Some of them settled down on flatlands, while others chose to live among the mountains and valleys. Houses were built along the shape of the mountains, but because of this pattern, drainage became a problem. 54-year-old Hasi Kai lives in a low-lying area. Above her yard, the sewage of 6 or 7 families can only be drained through her kitchen.
Where else would it go? There is simply nowhere else for the water in the drainage to go. I don't know where it started. I arrived here at the age of 19, and that was how it was set up already. I suppose things have been that way since our ancestors were here.
People in the mountains cannot live without large livestock. The pigs, cattle, and horses are kept in yards, and on rainy days, their waste will be washed down towards families in the lower area. But in Wumu village, no one has ever complained. Families in the higher area try to control how much sewage is released.
This is our family's water outlet. We pour our water here. Our water flows through the door of Hasikai's family house. Sometimes our water might happen to also contain pig or horse droppings, so we try to clean it first. We try to get it as clean as possible because we feel sorry. We would not want dirty water going down to them.
This understanding makes villagers more aware and care more about how their actions affect others. This is why they have harmonious relationships. This concern for other villagers was originated from the customs of Nashi people thousands of years ago, and the design of a fair system guarantees harmonious relationships. Wumu village is near Jinsha River, but the land makes it hard to use the river water. Water for field irrigation and daily use comes from the mountain. Among the 3 neighborhoods of Wumu, Wumu and Suming share one water source. And even then, there has never been conflict among the villagers for the water. There are specialized water controllers that distribute the water to different areas. Hejishan was once a water controller. Each neighborhood has its own pond. Water is branched off to different ponds after it is guided down. Villagers will distribute the water according to coordinated results. This is the village's rule of water.
This is the water distribution outlet, and at night half of the water will be poured into the pond here, and the other half will be poured into the pond at Wumu village. This is the only available water source for the neighborhoods of the village. With this limited water resource for everyone, if we fail to distribute equally, it could lead to many social problems. For example, one neighborhood is big and the other one is smaller, which is a disadvantage. Families with more children can bully those with fewer children. And that is why the water is distributed by the assigned water controller in a way that is more traditional. None of the families act disrespectfully towards the others, no matter how many they are or how powerful their positions may be. Everybody gets their water as it's distributed by the water controller. Effort is placed so that it is done fairly. With this effort is the guarantee that every family will remember that water is limited and will be used wisely.
If villagers are ever in disagreement about the flow amount of the water, the rule of water can solve this too.
If they dispute distribution, the simplest way for them to address that is to take a single leaf and place it about 10 meters from the start of the canal and let it flow down. From here, one cannot determine its direction. The leaf will turn left or right, and wherever it goes is where the water flow is stronger. As the leaf is going downstream, it will hit this stone. And so we will see which side the leaf goes and which of the streams, in fact, provides more water. But if the leaf reaches this stone in the middle and it does not go left or right but only stays in place for about 20 to 30 seconds, it means water flow is equal on either side. This is the traditional way of distributing water.
Villagers who need water for the next day come to the pond early. At 6 o'clock, as specified, the outlet will be opened and water will then pour into the ponds. Everyone strictly follows the rules set for the village.
We have good rules for water here. Why do they work well? Everybody respects the rules and follows them. We would never dare to use the water of others, and they would never use ours either. We are fair to one another. And it feels great. This understanding is custom in our village.
On the 10th lunar month of this year, villager Chang De-An-I plans to grow beans in her fields. Beans require more water than wheat, and their rules for water give priority to villagers growing beans over those growing wheat. If villagers grow the same crop, those at a higher altitude have less to harvest because of the temperature and humidity, and so they are prioritized. This sensible system for distribution brings harmony to the villagers. It is the embodiment of the wisdom of the Nashi people. What if there are still conflicts between people? How do they solve these problems? In the Dongba scriptures, a well-known story tells people that a small disagreement may lead to disaster if not properly solved.
A long time ago, there was no such thing as conflict, but then two chicks fought over a worm. Two hens fought to help their own chicks, and after them, the two roosters started fighting too. Just like that. The two roosters were from different families. Two of the children fought to defend them. Soon, the mothers of the children came out and started fighting as well. As they were fighting, their husbands showed up and started their own fight too. It just kept escalating from there. The two husbands brought knives and guns, and before they knew it, the rest of their family started joining in on the fights. It blew up into a feud between the two villages. It was a proper fight. And with continuous fighting, there was no way anyone could have stopped it. Eventually, it evolved into more than that, into a great war between villages. And to think that this all started from a chick wanting to eat a worm. A few wise ancestors, those of the Nashi people, said that we should never allow conflict between people to simmer, because once it is war, you may want to kill, but that means you may also be killed yourself. People must be in peace. And that is a lesson we must learn from mistakes that our ancestors have made, so that we can never make them again. If we make sure all our relationships are peaceful and harmonious, then the human race will thrive forever.
The main driving force behind the peaceful relationships in the village lies in mutual understanding and fairness. In cases of major disputes, elders could always be invited to mediate. It has been effective in resolving conflict. Because of this, Wumu village has maintained its simple customs.
Wumu is quite a small village where residents meet regularly and frequently, which is why it is for the best that all the villagers have good relationships. Within the past 12 years, nobody in Wumu village has been summoned to the police station. Currently, Wumu village has been officially deemed safe by the Yulong Nashi Autonomous County.
Openness to foreign cultures has helped achieve harmony in the village. He Ji-sheng is not only the director of the village committee, but is also a legend among its people. 8 years ago, he married a beautiful woman from Belgium, Wendy. Today, the two run an inn in the village. This is the most beautiful house in Wumu, a spacious 2-story expanse with 9 bedrooms. If they are short of food or clothes, they will go to Lijiang to buy them.
He usually picks up the guests from Lijiang.
I do that more often.
He will ask me if we need anything around the house. I will make a list and he will get them.
She tells me what to do.
After finishing middle school, He Ji-sheng had to drop out. He worked as a guide in Lijiang after learning English by himself. In 2001, he met Wendy as she was leading a travel group. Wendy was very interested in Dongba culture, and eventually they fell in love. In early 2006, they held a traditional wedding of the Nashi people in Wumu village. Now they have 2 children. The firstborn is 4 years old. Her Chinese name is He Yuan-mei. Their son just turned 2 years old. His Chinese name is He Yuan-long. Both names were given to the children by their grandmother.
I had heard before the children would be stronger if they grew up in the village because they would be less sheltered. They would be able to touch dirty things and create their own immunity. It seems about right. They seldom fall ill.
Wendy speaks Chinese fluently, so she has no difficulty communicating with others and has since been accepted by the villagers. He Ji-sheng's mother is over 80, and she loves her daughter-in-law dearly, even if she is from far away.
She backs me up always when we argue.
She always tells me to take good care of her.
Yuan Mei and Yuan Long live a life much more comfortable than those of the other children. But as far as they are concerned, they are all the same. Villagers often drop by their inn to visit, just as they go to their neighbors. Right now, He Ji-sheng and his wife will take their guests to Wumu village to hike and to educate them on local customs.
If a lot of people want to cut some wood, they have to ask the chief of the village if it is possible. If it is okay, they come here and cut it. If not, they cannot do it. Because the Nashi people, they always respect nature.
He Ji-sheng lived in Belgium for over 2 years. He even found a stable job there. But the longer he lived out of China, the more he felt that he missed the mountain village of Wumu.
I missed my home, and I missed it more every day.
Seeing the difference between the developed country and his small village, He Ji-sheng decided to do something for his hometown. Wendy supported the idea. In 2009, the two went back to Wumu village. In 2013, He Ji-sheng was selected as director of the village committee. 13 kilometers of concrete roads are now open to traffic. And it now takes less than 1 hour to get from the village to the town.
I have been a tour guide for 7 years, so I know what guests like and why they come to Lijiang. Wumu village is also a part of Lijiang. I know it is beautiful. That is why I built an inn here. I really wanted to share our customs and traditions and our wonderful scenery with more visitors who can learn to appreciate it.
For He Ji-sheng, the mountains, rivers, and greenery are home to him. as well as the Nashi language, and the family he could not leave. Away from it, he felt trapped like a fish out of water. Now he's developed a hiking path, hoping to connect the sightseeing areas in the village to nearby tourist attractions. He and Wendy hired someone to make an English website for the inn. Many foreigners did not know about the inn until the website. And now, more than 200 guests from the US, Canada, Germany, Singapore, and other countries had stayed here. Little Wumu Village is gradually becoming known to the outside world.
Many people have asked me why I didn't stay in the city or go back to Belgium since I was doing so well. Or I had a job in Belgium, so why did I not stay there instead? I tell them it was always my dream to come back here because this is my hometown.
依然在盼